Hey, welcome back. This is Chandra TV, and today we're making Granny's baked chicken, and it's one of my grandma's recipes. We use garlic, onions, thyme. Make sure you have an additional paper plate or regular plate, your choice, a cutting board, a knife, and let's get started because this is one of my favorite things to make, and it's so good. Alright, so before we start anything, let's start chopping up our natural seasonings. I'm going to use about 4 to 5 garlic cloves. I have my own little method to where I just cut off the top hard part of the clove, and then I just kind of slam my wrist down to flatten it out. It just makes it much more easier when it's time to like chop it up, and it's already flattened, right? So I'm just kind of show you my little tricks and techniques. Next, we're going to be using an onion. I'm going to use a little less than a half. You don't need a lot of onions. Because we're going to be chopping this up, we don't really want to have too much left over. I mean, if you like a lot left over, then that's totally up to you, right? But I'm just going to go ahead. I first chop rings. I like to chop rings, and I like to stack them on top of each other, and then I start to kind of do vertical cutting, and then I do horizontal cutting, and that's just my own technique and learning how to chop things in a faster way. Next, I'm going to take my thyme, and I'm going to go against the leaves. As you can see, like the leaves are kind of pointing up, you're going to just slide your finger down, and that just makes it much easier, as you see what I'm doing here, to kind of get that off. I did use about like 10 to 15 branches. I use just a lot. This is totally up to you how much thyme you want to use in your food. I love thyme, one of my favorite herbs, so this you can modify to your own taste. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and combine our garlic, onions, and thyme. Let's get in these together before we start seasoning. In my previous video, I did explain how I clean my meat, so you should go check that out. And we're going to get ready to start our powder seasonings. First things first, I'm going to use some garlic powder. I'm going to put a good amount. This is a lot of chicken. This is at least 2 packs of chicken thighs. So it's not, I mean, it looks like a lot of seasoning, but it's not. It's going to do a paprika now. And then, of course, I'm going to go ahead and use my pink Himalayan salt. I do like to use pink Himalayan salt. I do feel like it has its own nice natural flavor taste to it. So, I think you will enjoy it at home too. And of course, I'm going to use my black pepper. I love to use my ground black pepper because I feel like it's more, the taste is more prominent than using the ones that are already, fine. I'm going to use some parsley. I'm a big parsley fan. It's like another herb. I'm a herb girl. I love all things herbs. So, like I said, you can moderately just add these in. You don't have to use as much as I use, but I love herbs, so this is what I use. And of course, one of my favorite things, without using soy sauce, I'm going to use liquid aminos. This is a natural alternative to soy sauce. And once that's all together, I'm going to take my hands, get them a little dirty, and I'm just going to flip those around and get it all nice together, making sure it gets to every piece of chicken inside. Now for stuffing. This is what makes my granny baked chicken some of the best baked chicken I've ever had. So I'm going to take my piece of chicken. I have my extra plate. I'm going to take my knife. I'm going to slit kind of like a little slot right in there. I try to find the real meaty areas that I can just kind of make a good slit, so it's not going to, the knife in the hole is not going to go through to the other side. And then I'm going to take those seasonings that I did chop up earlier, and now I'm going to stuff it inside of the chicken. And this is just going to like jam pack each chicken thigh with Just awesome, awesome flavor. It's amazing. So I promise you guys are going to really enjoy this at home. So next I have get my baking pan, and I'm going to just put like a tab of water, as you see. And also I'm going to preheat my oven at 400 degrees. And I'm just going to just slightly place each of my chicken thighs in. Because I have 8 pieces, I have to make sure I have enough room for all 8 pieces of chicken thighs to fit in the pan. Once in the pan, I'm going to go ahead with my Italian seasoning. This is just a bunch of herbs that are just complements each other. So I like to just put this on top. And this is just going to help with kind of make a little herb-like taste on top. Now this is my own extra step that I use. This is not what Granny does, but this is still on the lines. So put your chicken inside the oven for about 25 minutes uncovered. We want those seasonings to kind of stick to the skin. So we're going to have it uncovered. After 25 minutes, this is what your chicken is going to look like. It looks really good. The herbs are still on top. And I put a lot of herbs. I know in the process of cooking, it is going to fall off, so it's not a bad deal. Cover your chicken with aluminum foil, and you're going to cook it for about 25 minutes more. And this is what it looks like once it's covered. After 25 minutes, it's looking good. We're going to take some of the juices as it takes from the water, and plus the chicken has making its own little gravy. We're just going to go ahead and make sure it gets hydrated, looks moist and just juicy. You want juicy chicken. It's going to be so good. So after that's done, you see this is the back of the chicken thighs. I flipped them over. So I'm going to cook these on broil for 8 minutes. And I just want to brown it. You know, I don't like my chicken one side cooked and the other side not. So I'm just broiling it so you can get a nice brown. And I'm going to flip them back over, and I'm going to broil the top for about another 8 minutes as well. And you can add more seasoning to the top if you'd like to have the more herbs crusting, because as you see, some of the herbs come off, but that's totally up to you. And voila, there you have it. After broiling, this is what your chicken looks like. Man, when I tell you the chicken is so good and it's so juicy, look inside. Look, it is in every bite. It's in every bite. You're gonna taste the garlic and the onions and the thyme. It's jam-packed. You know, it's a whole thing in itself. It's a whole experience in itself. And the juices and just everything, just mwah. It's so good. I hope you enjoyed this recipe from my family to yours. I hope to see you in the next video. Click like and subscribe.